Hey everybody, my name is Teresa. This is Love Over Fear, and today we're going to talk about what it's like to foster with biological children. So if you're thinking of fostering and you have biological children, I would definitely encourage you to take it very seriously. There are some big cons to fostering with biological children, and I think they're pretty straightforward. When I talk with people and they find out that we foster, and that we have young biological children, the concerns are pretty universal. The foster children are going to be a bad influence on our biological children. The loss is going to be too much for them to handle. We're exposing them to a world that is much less sheltered than it otherwise would be. And just that all of the trauma of comings and goings and doctors and these things are going to be too much for our children to handle. That's usually what I hear. And I think there's some validity to all of that. And so to pretend like it's just not an issue or not something we even think about is untrue. So yes, all of those things have a grain of truth in them and a reason to be worried or fearful in making your decisions. But ultimately, our family culture is one that we do strive to act out of a place of love instead of fear, not just in foster care, but in our parenting in general, in the way that we handle behaviors, in the way that we handle interpersonal relationships, sibling rivalry, all of these things. It comes from a place of love over fear and trying to understand more than you're like, oh no, what if this is wrong? What if this is wrong? That's why this is the name of the channel. That's what we believe. And so our family culture really lends itself to fostering because we, first of all, see it as a family mission. And we embrace the parts that are hard as opportunities to grow in resilience, to grow as a family, to lean on each other, and to make space for those hard conversations and those hard parenting opportunities. Because the children who come in who maybe have habits that you wished your kids did not hear about or know about, you now have to parent through that situation. The trauma and the loss and the hard times that some of these kids have, your kids now know that exists in the world, and you have to parent from that. You have to talk through that. You have to let your kids see humanity in a way that maybe if you didn't foster, you would not have to let them see. But I will tell you also that while there are cons and while it is hard, and you kind of have to up your parenting game a little bit, be a little more intentional with the way that you approach your biological children and your foster children. But another thing that I want to point out is some of the experiences that my children have had, I think they're worth what they cost. Like our kids being able to be empathetic to other people, our kids being the type of kids who go play with the kid at the playground that nobody is playing with because they understand things like that. I feel like in part comes from the way we treat people in general and the way that we open our home to not just families or not just the children, but the families. We really push family first. We really push with our children reunification and supporting families and believing in families. And that's what we believe, and we get to live that out. You know, we're religious. We are pro-family. We're pro-life. We're pro-love and support, and we get to actually live that out and show what it looks like to come and step up for a family and help them stay together, and to come and step in for a child and love them through hard behaviors is a better word. It's a gift, and it also, I think, I'm much more intentional as a parent. Most days when I wake up and I'm asking myself, like, how can I make sure that my children feel loved today? I'm asking that question for all of the children in my home. biological or otherwise. And I wonder if we didn't foster, would I be less intentional even with my own children? Would I pour into them to the same extent, or would I have the mindset of like, well, they know I love them, right? Like, they know I love them. I don't have to like go out of my way to make sure I'm touching on their love language or something. Like, they know I love them. We have their whole life kind of things. When you foster, that's not the case. You may have a child in your home for 3 months, and you've got 3 months to let that child know in their own language that they're loved. And so you get, it's almost like a challenge, right? And you get good at noticing the kids in your home, noticing what they like, noticing what they don't like, noticing what makes them feel whole, and then sprinkling that around them so that they have that feeling of safety and of belonging and of love. And that extends to the children that I birthed myself. And I feel like I'm such a better mom, and we're such a more grateful family in general. And some of the things I worry that I would have went down, the paths I worry I would have went down, that I maybe am more fearful of than fostering, is this sense of having entitled kids, having kids who aren't grateful and who expect all of the things. I really attribute our life, our culture, and our decision to foster as to why that is not the way that our children are. And I also, I can get a little researchy, right? I can get a little like, oh, I need to make sure they're eating everything perfect, and that, no screens and attachment parenting and like all these things, which are beautiful. They're all great. But opening my heart and my mind up to how different families are, and realizing the most important thing that you can do with your kids is connect to them, love them, show up for them, and not be quite so high strung on all of the little things. And I was tempted to go down that path before we started fostering, and I feel like fostering saved me and our family from that and gave us a better, more wholesome perspective of humanity, of family, and we're all more grateful. The lessons that they've learned in being foster siblings is the most beautiful gift that our family has received. The lessons that myself and my husband have been able to learn, through this process has been a gift to us. I pray that we've been a gift to the children who've come into our home, but I know that they've been a gift to us. So while, yes, there is scary things, there is so much beauty, and there's so much good, and there's so many reasons to be grateful and to hold your babies tight and just love the life you have and love your opportunity to serve others. And so for us, it's worth it, and it might be worth it for you. I really would encourage you to think at it from a place of love and not of fear. And if for every, well, what if this happens that you go through, that's the worst thing that could possibly happen, you might as well throw in, what if this happens? That could be the best thing you can possibly imagine, because both of them are equally likely. And there is bad things that happen, and there is good too. And so I encourage you to think through that, pray through that. I hope everyone the best. And until next time, remember, you are loved, you are worthy of good things, and you, my friend, are not alone.